Imagine holding your child's hand as Earth dies behind you. Oceans drowning cities, skies burning red, and the soil beneath your home collapsing into dust. You board humanity's last ark, whispering prayers for survival. But in the silence of space, monsters stir. Alien titans, claws like burning steel, close in. Hope flickers, until a familiar guardian emerges, Kong. A god among monsters, a savior for humanity's last breath. But the question remains, could we ever truly survive the stars without him? Watch until
Mommy,
the end,
I am
where
scared.
science reveals the fragile truth of interstellar travel. The Earth we once knew was no longer safe. Its oceans had risen, swallowing entire coasts where children once played and generations had lived. Cities that had defined humanity's pride, New York, Tokyo, Rio, Mumbai, now lay broken, half submerged beneath relentless tides. Skies that had once been painted in shades of blue and streaks of white had become an oppressive
Send the
dome
signal!
of storms
Call
and
the
ash.
Guardian!
The soil, exhausted from centuries of harvest, could no longer feed the billions who depended on it. The air itself, once alive with birdsong, laughter, and the hum of daily life, now carried the choking sting of dust and fire. Humanity had stretched its cradle to the breaking point. We cut forests faster than they could grow back. We dug deep into the earth, tearing resources without pause. We warmed the atmosphere until glaciers bled into oceans. And now, the planet had broken back. Floods came where deserts once stood. Deserts expanded where gardens once flourished. Storms roared with violence unknown to our ancestors. The decision to leave Earth did not come from a single meeting. No leader, no council, no empire stood tall enough to dictate it alone. Instead, it came from a chorus, scientists warning of dwindling years, leaders admitting that borders could no longer protect, parents whispering to children that survival might mean abandoning the only world they had ever known. For centuries, we had told ourselves we belonged to Earth. In the end, Earth reminded us we were only guests. And so, humanity's greatest endeavor began. The Exodus. In orbit above the fading planet, something extraordinary took shape. Not a weapon, not a fortress, but a city in the stars. 5 kilometers long, gleaming like a silver needle threaded through the heavens, the migration ship was unlike anything before it. Its hull shimmered with metallic sheen, glowing thrusters burning blue against the void. Engineers called it the Ark, but for the millions watching from below, it was not just steel and engines. It was a promise. Inside, families found refuge. Mothers clutched infants swaddled in fabric that smelled faintly of smoke from the burning cities below. Elders gripped heirlooms, photographs, carved wood, scraps of fabric from ancestral homes, tokens of a world they would never touch again. Children pressed their faces against glass, staring wide-eyed at the shrinking sphere of Earth. They tried to memorize every shape, every continent, every patch of green and blue. They did not know whether they would ever see it again. This was not simply a vessel of metal. It was humanity's last ark, carrying not only people, but memory, culture, and fragile hope. The ship drifted away from orbit, its engines pulsing softly. Below, Earth grew smaller. From space, its scars were even more visible. Oceans swollen, clouds swirling in unnatural fury, brown scars of desert where forests had once thrived. On board, voices rose and whispered prayers in dozens of languages. Some prayed to gods, others to science. Many prayed to nothing at all, only whispering in desperation to the silence around them. Tears fell. Some wept at the thought of never walking barefoot on grass again. Some wept for the rivers and mountains left behind. Yet others, through their grief, clung to the fragile dream that somewhere in the endless sea of stars, a new
All
beginning
units,
might
support
wait.
Kong now!
But as every kilometer grew between them and Earth, a truth settled in. Space was not empty. Space was not safe. It began as a ripple. The void itself seemed to tear, like fabric stretched too thin. At first, navigators thought it was a system error. But the ripple widened, glowing red along its edges, and from it emerged shadows. They were not ships in the human sense. They were alien titans, biomechanical abominations that blurred the line between metal and the flesh. Each one towered over 100 meters, their exoskeletons gleaming black, laced with molten veins that pulsed like lava through armor. Eyes burned crimson, claws gleamed like blades sharpened in the heart of stars. Their presence was not diplomatic, it was predatory. The migration ship's defenses snapped into action, turrets rotated, spitting streams of plasma fire, bright blue streaks that lit the void. For a heartbeat, humanity believed its weapons might stand. But when the blast struck alien armor, they scattered like raindrops on stone. The Titans pressed closer. One clawed machine shredded a row of turrets with ease, peeling them from the hull like paper. Inside the ship, panic spread faster than fire. Corridors shook as alarms blared. Children screamed, clutching at their parents. Sparks rained from ruptured panels. Bulkheads cracked under the alien assault. Families huddled together, powerless to do anything but wait. On the command deck, officers scrambled. Their eyes darted across flickering monitors. One man, scarred from wars of Earth's past, gripped the microphone with shaking hands. His voice broke through chaos with an order that would echo through history. Send the signal. Call the Guardian, for in humanity's archives, somewhere between myth and memory, there lingered one name, a protector, a beast, a god among monsters. Spoken in both reverence and fear, passed down in stories half forgotten, it was said to be the last defense Earth ever had. And as alien claws tore deeper into the migration ship's hull, that name became the only hope left. The stars rippled.
Yes,
Space
we are
itself
back
bent
online.
like water. And then it opened. A warp gate
We have
flared into
communication.
existence. A circle of blinding blue light, sparks snapping along its edge. Energy rippled outward in waves that rattled even the alien behemoths. From the storm of light stepped a figure, massive, primal, scarred by centuries of battle. 100 meters tall, fur dark as midnight, chest slashed with scars that glowed faintly in the light. His amber gold eyes blazed with intelligence and fury. Across his fists shimmered gauntlets of cosmic alloy, forged to withstand the fury of suns. He stepped through the gate with deliberate power, each movement echoing across the void. Then he pounded his chest, the sound reverberating like thunder. And then came the roar, so powerful it seemed to silence fear itself. Inside the ship, civilians froze. Some gasped, some whispered prayers, others wept openly, overwhelmed with relief. Because hope was no longer abstract. Hope had a face. Hope had a fist the size of trucks. Hope had returned, and Kong, Earth's guardian titan, stood ready. The alien titan struck first. Claws of molten steel lashed forward, slamming into Kong's chest. He staggered, but did not fall. His muscles strained. His roar thundered as he seized two of its arms and glared into its burning eyes. The void erupted into war. From the warp ripples, other guardians answered the call. A colossal T-Rex emerged, 12 meters tall, 15 meters long, its scarred gray scales glistening under starlight. Golden eyes blazed with primal fury as it tore into alien scouts, crunching metal like brittle bone. From another rift flowed the shadow of a Spinosaurus, crimson sail glowing like fire in the darkness. Its icy blue eyes narrowed with hunger as it dragged drones into the watery fractures of space, ripping them apart with crocodilian jaws. And circling through shadows came a pack of velociraptors. Sleek, cunning, 2 meters tall, their white claws gleamed with precision. They leapt onto alien machines, tearing glowing cores apart with surgical violence. Side by side, the Guardians fought. Kong's fists shattered steel. The T-Rex's jaws ripped drones in
Redirect
half.
all units!
The Spinosaurus
Hold!
swept enemies into ruin with its tail. The Raptors darted, striking weak points no human could see. And humanity joined them. Jets streaked into the void, railguns blazing. Tanks fired from the Ark's hull. Commanders coordinated the Titans, striking precisely where claws and jaws opened gaps. Together, beast and man fought as one. The battle raged for hours, lighting the heavens with fire. Kong roared, trading blow for blow with the alien Titan. T-Rex tore into machines that dared flank him. Spinosaurus ripped drones apart, leaving wreckage drifting. Raptors struck from shadows, their screeches echoing like battle hymns. Humanity's weapons filled the gaps, railguns and missiles turning Titan wounds into fatal blows. Finally, as dawn's first light touched the Ark's silver hull, the swarm faltered. The alien Titan staggered, cracks glowing red across its body. And with a final, meteoric blow, Kong roared and drove it back into the abyss. The ship was safe, for now. Silence returned. Not the silence of peace, but the silence of aftermath. Wreckage floated like ghosts. Fires flickered faintly across debris. Fragments of alien machines glowed dimly before fading. And yet, amidst ruin, life remained. Inside, survivors embraced. Children laughed for the first time in days. Songs rose, prayers filled the air. On the command deck, the scarred commander whispered, almost to himself, "They called them monsters, but tonight, they saved us all." Kong stood watchful, chest rising with slow, steady breaths. The T-Rex prowled nearby, eyes calm but alert. The Spinosaurus melted back into shadow. Raptors vanished, unseen as they came. The Guardians had done their duty. Humanity, scarred but alive, sailed onward. The lesson was clear. Monsters are not always enemies. Sometimes, they are saviors. Cinematic war gives way to NASA footage. Star maps fill the screen. Rockets ignite. Astronauts float above Earth. The narration continues. In our story, Kong stood as protector, but in reality, humanity has no guardian waiting in the shadows. No Titan will roar into the void to shield us from the dangers of the cosmos. If we are to survive, if we are to journey among the stars, we must rely on the tools we create, the knowledge we cultivate, and the courage we choose to carry. Science is our only shield, our only compass. Interstellar travel remains one of the greatest challenges in all of physics. Consider this. Alpha Centauri, the closest star system beyond our own, lies a mere 4.2 light-years away. In cosmic terms, it is right next door. Yet, with today's rockets, it would take thousands of years to reach. The distance between stars is not just vast, it is humbling, reminding us that survival among the stars demands technologies we have yet to master. Fusion engines, antimatter drives, perhaps even warp technology. These are not the stuff of fantasy, but the very keys we would need to open the door to the stars. And propulsion is only the beginning. Beyond speed lies danger. Cosmic radiation, invisible, deadly, would silently weaken any crew unshielded. Food and water, if not endlessly recycled, would run out within years. Even a pebble no larger than your hand, hurtling through space at near light speed, could pierce a ship with the force of a nuclear weapon. These problems remind us the universe is beautiful, but it is also unforgiving. Yet, despite the odds, humanity tries. We test ion drives that whisper through the void. We build fusion reactors, chasing the fire of the stars themselves. We dream of solar sails that might one day ride starlight like ancient ships once rode the wind.
Titans,
every experiment,
hit the core
every
now!
failure, every success, they bring us closer to transforming dream into reality. Why does this matter? Because imagination fuels progress. The stories we tell, even those of monsters and guardians, are not simply entertainment. They remind us what is worth fighting for: survival, discovery, and the courage to push beyond the horizon. The fictional migration ship sails on in story. Our rockets launch in reality. Both are guided by the same truth. Humanity was never meant to stay in one place. The stars call us forward. And one day, perhaps not with Titans, but with technology, we will answer. The lesson is clear. In life, we may not always have protectors to fight our battles. There will be no giant hand to lift us when we stumble, no mythic roar to silence our fears. What we have is our own will, our own creativity, and our own courage to face the storms. Whether it is building a better future, protecting our families, or simply persevering through hardship, the message is the same.
Oh my God, we made it!
Hope is not given. It is made.
We're safe. We're
now,
finally safe.
I'd love to hear from you. If you had the chance, would you choose to leave Earth for a new world, or stay and fight for this one? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective may inspire someone else. And don't forget, Subscribe to the channel so we can keep bringing you more stories, more lessons,
Interstellar
and more
travel
journeys into
poses
imagination and
many
science.
challenges.
Your support gives us the strength to continue.